I think France is really doing a good job here, and hopefully we're not going to hear any stories as such, apart from the stories on the pitch, not outside the pitch.
Okay, let's go on a quick break now. When we return from the break, we'll be making a change. We'll be talking Copa America on Sports Tonight. Join us again. All right, thank you for staying with us. It's time for us to move on now to this part of Sports Tonight. And here we will focus on Copa America Centenario. Tayo Salam joins me. And together for the next few minutes, we'll take a look at happenings at Copa America Centenario. Tayo, let me start by finding out from you what you feel about this competition. It's been about 3-4 days now.
Yeah.
How would you rate it so far?
Yeah, well, so far so good. I think it's been okay. You know, it's the first round of games, and a lot of teams are still very cautious. So, yeah, I expect it when it goes into the second round of games, and we'll start to see more exciting football. But for me, earlier today, the game that we're going to have to talk about.
The game of the tournament so far.
Yeah, it has to be Argentina playing Chile. You know, it's a rematch of last year's final where Chile won that one on penalties. But this time around, roles were reversed and Argentina came out on top in this particular one.
We'll talk about that some more as we go on, but I think we should start off by showing you the results from the games played earlier today. Also on the program, later on we'll be talking about the games to be played in a few hours from now. And of course, we'll be going into the second round of games, as Tayo Salam highlighted, and we will try to see which teams will be coming back after their loss in the first games and which teams will be trying to consolidate. But let's start off by showing you the results of games played earlier on today. Group D games. Remember, this tournament started very early on Saturday, and so we've had Group A, Group B, Group C, and finally, this morning, we had games played in Group D. And the results from the games, Panama coming good, 2-1 winners over Bolivia, and of course, Argentina, Chile, which is the game everybody's been talking about. Argentina winning that one 2-1. They were actually running away with a 2-0 lead until Chile pulled one back towards the end of that game. So, as it stands in Group D, Panama, Argentina are setting the pace. Defending champions, Chile and Bolivia, picking the rear.
Yeah, quickly, let's just talk about Panama. Panama over Bolivia. I mean, that's like an upset for me because Panama, they're not the greatest footballing side in the world. So for them to beat Bolivia by 2-1, I think that's very impressive. So it's a good way for them to start the tournament. Blas Perez got the 2 goals for Panama. Blas Perez is 35 years old now. Yeah, he's getting on in age.
A lot of old guys are really finding their range here.
Yeah, but it's still showing, you know, he has what it takes to play at the highest level. So that's a very impressive one. But going to Argentina versus Chile, it was a very tough one. Like I said, Argentina, you know, got 2 goals first, courtesy Angel Di Maria and Eva Banega, and you thought, okay, they were going to run away with this. Chile pulled a goal back, and in the end, it looked as if it looked a bit nervy for Argentina, but held on to get the win. So it's a good way to start the tournament, and good news coming for Argentina again is that Lionel Messi, he missed this particular game, and it's going to be
available
for
their next game, which is going to be against Panama.
Yeah, that's on Friday. So it's good news for Argentina all around. Coach Gerardo Martino, I'm sure we'll be looking forward to that one.
And Chile, of course, defending champions, will be attempting to bounce back into this competition with Bolivia. And that's a very tricky game, Tayo, because Bolivia on a loss already. Wouldn't want to lose the second game, which will mean they are out of the competition. But for Chile, it's too early to think of going home.
I mean, it's too early. Defending champions, you don't want to come into a tournament, you know, and exit in the group stage. So both sides lost the first games, so they will want to bounce back.
But the Argentina team that we saw against Chile earlier today, did they look like a team that was playing without a Lionel Messi?
Yeah, of course. Come on. I mean, that's the talisman of the team. That's the captain. So whenever he's not available, you know, it shows. And it showed today. But the good thing about Argentina is that they've got quality players all over the park. And that's why we saw the likes of Di Maria, you know, stepping up to the plate. And Eva Banega as well. So, yeah, surely when Messi doesn't play, just like it happens to Barcelona, if he doesn't play, you're going to miss him. But the good news is he's back for Friday. Hopefully the back injury is totally healed now and, you know, is ready to go. Remember, is under a lot of pressure as well. So that's Lionel Messi. He hasn't won a major, trophy
with the national team
for Argentina. Yeah, a lot of people are, doubting his greatness. Everything is done for Barcelona. That's all good. But what about your country? What have you done? He hasn't won a major for them. So it's an opportunity for him, to do it this time around in America.
And what a game that will be, because Argentina with a win in the first game will probably be sealing their place in the next round if they're able to tidy it up and get a win over Panama. All right, in a few hours, let's talk about these games. Atayo, in a few hours from now, we'll be going into the second round of games in Group A, and this is where the tournament really begins.
Yes.
USA lost their first game to Colombia. They need to bounce back. And Costa Rica was a draw in the first game. So the Americans, all eyes will be on Klinsmann and his boys to produce something that will make them stay in this competition for the sake of the tournament.
Surely. I mean, Jürgen Klinsmann is under immense pressure. There's no doubt about it. There's no two ways about that. He's gone into that first game and then lost, which is very disappointing for the home fans. So playing against Costa Rica in the next game, they have to win, obviously. And it's good to see the coach. He understands that, and he's admitted that it's a must-win game. So against Costa Rica, which is a very, decent side as well, too, the likes of Clint Dempsey, the likes of Fabian Johnson, and all the other, veterans in that American squad, they all need to up the ante. They have to bring their A game, to get this win. Like I said, you don't want the host nation going out after the group stage. It kind of affects, the tournament. So hopefully, America can bounce back today against Costa Rica.
Well, Klinsmann has been speaking. We'll talk about Colombia, Paraguay in a few minutes from now. But Klinsmann has been speaking. It looks like he's confident. He can turn things around, but he was this confident as well before their first game against Colombia. So let's just pause a little bit, listen to what Klinsmann has got to say ahead of the game today against Costa Rica, and then we'll be back with more on Sports Tonight.
Understand what's at stake. You're absolutely right. It's a must-win situation. When you lose your first one, there's only 2 games left, so you got to get your first 3 points, and then you see, how things will play out in the third game. But for tomorrow night, we are full of energy, full of optimism to get those 3 points. We have, as I said again, respect for this Costa Rican team. We have everything to play for. They played 0-0 in the first game there. So they're only 1 point ahead of us, so there's everything to play for in the last 2 games. And then hopefully you go through, which we are convinced we will. You start a whole new tournament again, because knockout stage is a completely different tournament than the group stage phase. So the players, we explained that to players, we talked to them. A lot of them played those tournaments before, obviously. So they are very hungry to do well in this Copa America.
All right, that's again Klinsmann. We'll see if all of this beautiful talk can be translated onto the pitch by his team. If they're able to do it, they stay in the competition. If they're not able to do it, the Americans could be the host and they could be going home.
Yeah, which will be very bad for the competition. So tonight against, let's just quickly go back to the game they lost against Colombia. It was a very underwhelming performance by the side, and they lost to James Rodriguez and Christian Zapata getting the goals for Colombia. So good win for Colombia. But for the USA, the bottom of the group now, so they've got to get a win tonight against Costa Rica. I think they should have what it takes to beat Costa Rica. I mean, because Costa Rica, USA, they all play in the same region, CONCACAF, and on the rankings, I think they're a better side than Costa Rica.
Let's talk about the second game. Today, which for me is a big one. It's a massive game. Colombia, buoyed by a victory in the first game over the host, will be looking to do it against Paraguay. And for Paraguay, a draw against Costa Rica means they could also be picking something from this game if they're able to pick all 3 points.
Yeah, surely. But for me, the bad news, injury bug has been biting all season. I mean, in tennis, even in football as well. So James Rodriguez
limped out of the first game.
Yeah, so he's very doubtful for the second game. For Colombia, they just have to consolidate. They can get 3 points today, and they'll be through to the next round, and there's a good chance of them going far in the competition.
All right, so all eyes, of course, on the games. Group A, second round of games, as Saya said, the tournament really begins now. It's win or bust now for some teams. Little margin for errors, and we'll be seeing if the Americans can make it good, and of course to see if also Colombia can live up to the hype and get the victory against Paraguay today. All right, so Tayo, thank you so much for coming on this show. Where's your money on that game, Colombia-Paraguay? Where are you putting your money on?
Colombia.
You're going with Colombia. All right, we'll wait to see what happens in that one. Sports Tonight continues. Join us again.